Oye, ¿cómo va? Hey, what's going on? My name is Troy, and welcome to my channel, Silver Fox in Mexico. Today I'm filming in the beautiful city of Morelia, and I've been living in Mexico for approximately 2.5 years. And I've been thinking about doing this channel ever since I crossed the border. But when I first crossed, I had an online business that I was running in the United States, and I was too busy. And then I got sick a few times, and then my dog got cancer, and I had to put her down. Um, I always seem to have some valid reason or pathetic excuse to not start the channel. And then recently I saw a YouTube video with Patrick Bet David, and he was asking his audience, who doesn't have a YouTube channel? And then he asked the question, why not? And he's like, everybody should have a YouTube channel. Not everybody needs to run it like a business or monetize it. But he said, in 30 or 40 years, your grandchildren or great-grandchildren are going to want to know about you, what you did, what you were doing, what you were about. And I thought about that, and that really struck home with me, that, I would like a video, an archive of all the things that I'm doing in Mexico. And I regret not starting the channel sooner. And my daughter's busy, and we don't get to spend a lot of time together. And I think maybe in the future she'd like to know what I did, or what I'm doing, even though she doesn't have time to touch base. So without further ado, let's get into this first video, which is why I moved to Mexico. Why Mexico? Well, the two main reasons I moved were cost of living and my health. And let's start with the first one, the cost of living. So about 5 years ago, I was living in Northeast Ohio, and I decided, hey, what would my retirement look like if I could have a retirement? And what if I paid off my mortgage, my car, my student loans, and all I had left was the basic, utilities, property taxes, insurance. And at that time, those bills were running about $365 a month. And I guesstimated in 12 to 15 years, it would easily be 800, probably more like 1,000. And I was like, that's not gonna work for me. And, I think maybe I need to move to a less expensive location, to be honest with you. And so I sat down and I talked to my daughter and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I want to know what your future is. And she was like, Dad, I hate Ohio. I don't want to be here. I'm going to go to university someplace else, and I'm probably not going to come back. And so I explained to her what I was thinking, and she was really excited about the possibility of me going someplace else and exploring my dreams. And so with her encouragement, I started looking at places I might go. And since I didn't have family in Ohio, nothing was tying me down there, well, maybe I should look overseas as well. So I called my brother and told him, I said, hey, I think I want to leave. I want to leave the United States possibly, and I need to find a better location to help me with my cost of living and my personal health. And he suggested that I go to Colombia. And I'm not talking Columbia, South Carolina. He was talking the country of Colombia. And I'm like, are you serious? Like Colombia, like cartel Colombia? And he's like, yeah, it's not like that anymore. He goes, I go there all the time. He goes, I encourage you to go check it out. So I bought a plane ticket, flew down to Cartagena, which is on the ocean. And the cost of living there was probably at least 60% cheaper than living where I was at in the United States. The food, I loved the food. The people were great. The culture was amazing. The weather was fantastic. And, I'm thinking to myself, this is really nice. This could possibly work. And on the return trip home on the flight, it dawned on me that I only had one migraine. And back in Ohio, I would average 8 to 10 migraines a month. And so that was a real eye-opener for me. And so when I got back to Ohio, I started doing more research about Colombia and worked to pay off the car, the student loan, trying to make this dream a reality. And I went back to Cartagena the following year and spent a little longer, 4 weeks this time. Again, loved the trip, didn't have any migraines, and I started researching what it would take to move there. What would the temporary residency process look like? And unfortunately for me, this is during COVID, and I realized that the airlines weren't really moving dogs at that time, and my dog was 65 pounds, and she didn't really like going into a crate, and the airlines weren't really cooperative as far as putting a dog in cargo and flying to Cartagena. So that's when I started looking. I'm like, I need to find a different alternative. So I started looking at Mexico really hard, and did my research with Google and some Facebook expat groups that were in Mexico. And I decided to go to the Detroit Mexican consulate with all my documentation and see if I would be approved for temporary residency, and drove up to Detroit, and it took me 29 minutes for me to give them the paperwork, go through the verbal questioning process, and they approved my visa on the spot, and I was in and out in 29 minutes. So what that process includes is they put a temporary visa in your passport. You have 6 months from that date to cross into Mexico and finish the process in an immigration office within Mexico. So I went back to Ohio. I sold my house, sold all the contents of my house, and took my little few belongings and a dog and the Subaru Impreza, and I drove to Mexico. Now that I'm here, I can tell you that although I do still get some migraines occasionally, maybe 3 a month, I am up in the mountains, and so it's not like I was before in Cartagena on the beach. But the cost of living, I took the proceeds from the sale of my house in Ohio, and I bought a house in Morelia, so my house is paid for, and my monthly expenses compared to Ohio, my property taxes are about $120 per year. Yeah, per year, not per month, per year. I just got my water bill. It's $18 for 2 months. My electric bill is about $15 a month. I pay between $5 and $6 a month for my bottled water that I bring in 5-gallon, they're called garrafons, but 5-gallon jugs of drinking water. And I pay probably between $10 and $12 a month for my cooking gas. It's like a propane gas. They don't really use electric for that. So, there you have it. That's why I moved to Mexico. The summarization of it is the cost of living. Yes, I can live here much better, cheaper than I could back in Ohio. And the fact that the quality of life has gone up dramatically by not having all those migraines, have to take constant medication, whether it's trying to find a preventative medicine that worked or taking pills when I have the medicine. And maybe in another video I'll talk about the healthcare in Mexico and how it compares to the United States. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. It's my first one, so hopefully it wasn't too bad. Everybody says that the first 10 videos suck, but we'll see what the response is. If there are things that you'd like to know about Mexico, or possibly have an idea of a future video, please leave a comment down below. I'd really appreciate if you would give me a thumbs up, and at least for the effort of putting myself out there on the internet. And if you would like to see some more videos in the future, please subscribe. And I would really appreciate it. I have some ideas about what I want to do, it's not going to be videos like this. It'll be out and about showing you when I go visit places or eat at a restaurant or markets or just the life in general of being in Mexico. So thank you very much, and I appreciate it, and peace.